Hey everyone, Brandon Shaw here at Crylight Properties Unlimited. I hope everybody's having a great day so far. Just wanted to jump on real quick and discuss a topic that recently happened during a transaction. You hear all kind of people say, "Well, why do I need a realtor, or why do I need a real estate agent to help me guide me through this process?" And I'm going to give you just an example story of what happened recently in a transaction, so you can really see why having a realtor is very valuable for the transaction. So I'm gonna give you a backstory. I had this house listed for a while, so the seller was ready to sell the property, and then we had a military family buyer come in and wanted to move into the house. This guy actually took prepossession of this house, and when I take prepossession, he moved in early and signed the documents, and we are supposed to close within 2 weeks. So we have a right now we have a buyer and that's ready to close on this house. That's serving our country, and then we have a seller who's ready to close on this house because they had been on the market for a couple months and they're ready to get it sold. So we had all the things lined up. Everything was going great. The buyer's financing was fantastic, but we had one problem. We had a termite inspection done, and on a termite inspection, um, there is a thing called conducive conditions, and you may ask what that is. It's basically if you ever heard of a tornado a watch, and during a tornado watch is similar to they say conditions is favorable for a tornado. So, all the elements are there to cause a tornado, but it's not actually a tornado, right? So, conducive conditions just basically means that you either got mulch or shrub bushes or something like that termites like, that could cause termites. Not saying it's termites at all, but it could cause termites. So, I was dealing with one of the bigger box banks, and they had emailed me and said, "Brandon, look, you're going to have to make sure all the conducive conditions that was marked on the termite report is fixed and repaired, and there must be a licensed contractor that goes out there to take pictures of this, and you must report back to us, and you need to get this done ASAP. This is on a Wednesday, and we need this by Friday to be able to close on time." And so, having a realtor on your side during the transaction, because the mortgage officers are not real estate agents, right? They don't handle contracts. They just facilitate the mortgage process. I pride myself in knowing a lot of like the VA guidelines, FHA, USDA guidelines throughout the years from experience. So I went ahead and pulled the VA guidelines myself. The VA guidelines actually states that is not correct, right? That you don't, all they're looking for is active infestation. And if there's any kind of visible insect damage, so if there's termites in the past and there was damages done, that would have to get a licensed contractor out there to look at those past damages and make sure there's no structural issues. But since there's no issues with that, and it was just conditions that was favorable for termites, there was no other problems with it, and it was not against VA guidelines for the underwriter to approve it. So what I did was I screenshotted that portion of the VA guideline and I emailed that over to the lender, and and I asked the lender to send this to the underwriting, so they can review this, because it was not right, because we everything was perfect on it, and they needed to go ahead and clear that condition off there, because that shouldn't be done to our VA veterans when it's not in their guidelines, right? So let me say this: as a seller, if you're one of those sellers that thought that you could do this yourself and you didn't know that guideline, then you would have had to go out there and you would have had to spend money to pull those bushes up and to make sure all the mulch was away from the house. Now that, if you did it yourself, that's one thing, but a lot of people can't do that stuff themselves, so they would have to send somebody out there to do it, which is additional money. So even if it was $1,000 for somebody to go out there and pull all those bushes up, or $1,500, I don't know what the cost would be for that. That would have been time and money, right? So on the seller side, you had somebody running, you had interest on the loan that they had. So every day that goes by, it was more interest building up. You had a VA buyer that said, "I'm ready to move in, I'm ready to close," is serving our country, that's already been in there, and he's paying rent at this point until we close on it. So if it got delayed, that's more rent. So there's a lot of money that could be that saved. So the underwriter came back and said, "You are correct. We do not have to have these cleared. There's no issue with this per VA guidelines," and they went ahead and cleared the file. But that's just one example of why a realtor is very, very important to have on your side during the transaction. There's so many moving parts. There's so many different things that can happen during the transaction that you may at the front of at the front of things when the market's great, right? You, people think they can put a sign in the yard to it, but there's so much hidden stuff during a transaction that that experienced agent will definitely help you overcome during that time. So if you're looking for a house, I would just say, look, get a realtor, interview some realtors, get to know them. And if you're selling a house, that's just as important to make sure that process goes through very, very smoothly and there's no issue with it. Okay. So I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Let us know if we can do anything for you. I'll be glad to help you buy or sell. Or if you know any family or friends wanting to buy or sell, shoot me their name and be sure to give them my number. God bless everyone. I hope everybody has a great day.